Gang, I am still a hard man. Let's go. It is I, Imperator of Forge. I also am known as Forge Warhammer. I am the leader of Forge Gang, and this stream is Imperator of Forge reviews the Frieza arc, Part 3, the final part. The final Frieza battle and closing statements on the Frieza arc. Finally am able to get this done, and we can go to the Cell arc at last, or the Android arc. My final thoughts is that this is a fairly good arc. It's been said that Akira Toriyama really put his biggest effort into this arc in the manga, and he put a lot of time and energy in making it. Especially compared to the later Cell and the Majin Buu arcs, where he kind of, in some instances, did not really put in his full potential. So, we have the last bit of the Frieza arc. I will go ahead and go into it. I've already covered the early Namek and the Captain Ginyu bits, and if you want to go and watch the first two parts, that'll be great. Let's just go ahead and sink in. All right. We're on planet Namek. Vegeta has just passed away. Goku exclaims before Frieza that he is a genocidal manglomaniac and says that he will defeat Frieza. It is quite a bold statement from a Scion survivor of planet Vegeta's destruction, no less. Yes, indeed. Of course, Frieza is not having none of it. So, Frieza is not an Arcosian, and Frieza is, we don't know what Frieza's species is of aliens, but he considers himself to be a superior extraterrestrial to the Scions and Nahamekians. Regardless, anyway, the battle begins. So Piccolo, Krillin, and Gohan give Son Goku their statements for Goku to win, and they blast off and leave to another island, or islet, and then Goku and Frieza go right into fighting. A lot of Dragon Ball fans will say that this is the best and the most iconic fight in all of Dragon Ball history. Goku is wearing the Gogijo Dogi, which means self-master, or ultimate master of martial arts. Goku has undergone a major Zenkai boost, and so Goku and Frieza take off and they start fighting each other. Goku tries to punch Frieza, but Frieza blocks it. Goku tries to do another punch and a kick, and they move into super fast, super speed movements in which they use split image or after image techniques or abilities, and they move at super fast speeds. Piccolo actually says that Goku has become a god of the martial arts. Piccolo mentions a couple of times that they are like gods. Their powers are akin to that of gods. Regardless, Goku and Frieza fight not at full power, they hold back. Regardless, Goku throws some punches and some kicks and Frieza moves fast. Frieza tries to counterattack Goku and he dodges those attacks. Frieza fires eye lasers at Goku and Goku dodges it. And Goku goes at super fast speed at Frieza as he performs multiple punches and kicks and power aura attacks and Kiyas. Frieza pops out of the water and fires a large energy or Kai ball at Goku. Goku holds it head on, and it pushes him into a rock side, halfway into the rock side itself, has his power, and his endurance holds him down. And just using mere willpower alone, Goku, halfway down into the rocks, pulls the energy blast up into the air. And then Goku comes out, and they continue to fight. So, the anime has like 50-something episodes of this battle. There's only 21 chapters in the manga of this, which is why, like I always say, you need to read the manga. Read the manga if you want to get the most out of it. You don't have to watch 50 or 60 episodes of this fight. You can read the 20 chapters in the manga and get the best of every part of it. Anyways, Frieza mocks Goku for being a Saiyan, and Goku, of course, has his moral statements and all of that. They continue to battle power up and fight at super fast speeds, as Goku comes out of the rocks and continues to fight against Frieza. Their fighting and power and stuff is incredible. They are super agile. They are super strong. Frieza fires an attack that Goku hits off that causes a giant explosion, and a mushroom cloud flies over the horizon as the planet shakes to its foundational core. The battle continues to grow more intensive, as both of them just continue to pull out more and more of their power level. Both are holding back the vast, overwhelming majority of their power as they continue to go into full throttle action. Goku tries to punch Frieza. Frieza gets behind and tries to tailspin attack Goku. Goku throws a high knee kick. Frieza does an elbow slam. Goku tries a somersault punch, and so on and so forth as they both perform multiple blows at the same time. Goku throws 3 punches and kicks to Frieza. Frieza counters them very easily with no effort at all on his part. And they jump over a bunch of rocks and stuff. Frieza decides that Goku is the strongest opponent that he has faced since he ever had to fight his parents. Only Frieza's parents were a tougher challenge for him to fight. And so Frieza uses the Force, like in Star Wars. Just as in Star Wars with the Jedi and the Sith, Frieza levitates multiple rocks and hurls them at Goku at the same time, using his psychic telekinetic force energy abilities. The various rocks and boulders fly around Goku, and Goku dodges and punches and kicks every single one of them, and then Frieza goes up in front of Goku and uses a psychic telekinetic ball attack on Goku. Goku is surrounded in an energy force field with Frieza's mind paralysis attack. And then Frieza kicks Goku up into the air, tail spins and headbutts Goku, and then kicks him into the ground. It causes a super gigantic explosion that can be seen from outer space. It is a tremendously large fireball-like explosion with a flash of light and tremendous energy and explosion that happens. But, despite all of that, Goku comes out completely unharmed. It turns out that Son Goku and Frieza are both holding back the bulk of their abilities, and they are only just starting to warm up. For Goku, as he tears off the upper shirt of his Go-Dogi, exclaims that he is holding back, as is Frieza, and they are just warming up. Piccolo explains that they have reached an entirely new level of power, and they are almost like gods the way that they fight. And so the battle continues as they fly to another island. Frieza exclaims that he can beat Goku without using his hands. And so Goku after doing some warm-ups and some push-ups and setups and squats, goes at Frieza and tries to tackle Frieza, but Frieza kicks him in the face, causing him to cough out blood. Goku twirls and flips and attacks Frieza, but Frieza dodges all of his attacks and kicks and stomps and hurls Goku into a mountainside. After Goku comes out of the rock slide, Frieza gets his tail around Goku and prepares to choke Goku to death. But at the last second, Goku bites Frieza's tail, and Frieza squirms and dodges it. Then Goku grabs Frieza by the tail, twists and hurls him into a rock side. And the battle continues as Goku uses everything he's got, punching and kicking, blocking, and so forth, as they continue to fight. On Earth, at their house, Chi-Chi and Goi Mao are wondering if Gohan has done their homework and what is actually going on. On Namek, the battle continues to intensify, and Goku puts in a lot of effort as he carblanks Frieza. He blocks Frieza's kick. Frieza then gets behind Goku and successfully kicks him, but Goku flips and punches and attacks Frieza. Finally, Frieza throws a punch and hits Goku in the face. Then Frieza throws another punch, and Goku continues to fight Frieza. Then Goku taunts Frieza and tells him that he did, in fact, have to use both of his hands after all. And so the battle continues to go on. The battle continues to go as they continue to fight. Now, in the Dragon Ball Z anime, there's a scene where Captain Ginyu switches bodies with Bulma. That does not happen in the manga. There is also a scene where Jace, Barter, Raccoon, and Guldo go to Kaio's planet. That also does not happen in the manga. Anyways, Frieza uses his hands, and they fight a little bit more. Finally, Frieza exclaims that he has been holding back the entire time. And it turns out that Frieza has used 1% of his actual max power. And Frieza estimates, given the way that Goku can raise and suppress his battle power, that if he uses about half of his maximum power, he can defeat Goku. And so Frieza powers up to 50% maximum full power and goes into a full throttle tailspin on Goku. Frieza explains that Goku is a very well-talented individual and asks if he will join the Frieza Force, which Goku promptly refuses to do so. Goku tells Frieza that if he leaves Namek and leaves in peace, that he will let him go. But Frieza refuses that offer. They both refuse their offer. Frieza powers up to 50% full power, and they continue the fight. And Frieza is at a whole nother fast speed as he punches Goku. Tailspin flips Goku down. Somersault punches Goku. Elbow slams and knee kicks Goku. And performs various multiple blows on Goku as Goku's power starts to diminish. Goku continues to use everything he has as he starts going up to more full power. Finally, in Kaio's world, Yamcha explains, as does Ten Shinhan, that Goku has the Kaioken ability that he learned from Kaio. But it turns out that Goku is already using the Kaioken times 10, or the 10-fold Kaioken attack. And it's not working on Frieza. Goku rushes in with all he has as he uses a combination of flash movement, flash image techniques, counterattacks, and the Kaioken times 10 as he continues to pull through, but it seems as if Frieza is getting the upper hand. Frieza punches Goku, tailspin flips him up into the air, and then Goku finally, as he begins to draw breath, Frieza takes a powerful attack and hurls it at Goku, firing various death laser beams at Goku that Goku dodges. Then, Frieza pops up on the side and fires a flash laser attack at Goku. There is a giant flash, an explosion, and a massive tremor. When it is clear, there is a giant bottomless hole with no end in the mountainside that crosses over the oceans and islands halfway across the entire planet. Frieza explains that at any time that he so chooses, he could destroy Namek with any effort, without any type of effort. The blast and the resulting damage creates a bottomless hole that goes all the way down through the crust, and it leaves a mark halfway across the entire planet. Finally, Goku does it. Son Goku uses the 20 times or the 20-fold Kaioken. Goku uses the 20 times Kaioken attack and punches Frieza, headbutts Frieza, flips and tosses Frieza into the air, does a high flip kick at Frieza, and a somersault punch. Frieza fights back, but Goku overpowers Frieza with everything, then has Goku headbutts, tail kicks, and somersault punches Frieza down. Goku fires the 20 times Kaioken Kamehameha at Frieza. Frieza holds it off with one hand, and there is a giant, powerful explosion like an entire minefield going off at once. When the smoke and the dust settles, Frieza's hand is significantly damaged, but Frieza is still not using all of his power. He is holding back, and Goku has given it his all. The 20 times Kaioken was all that Son Goku had in his arsenal. Anyways, Frieza runs up at full speed at Goku, punches him in the stomach, knocks him down, and kicks him into a rock side, pulls him up with his tail, and throws him into the side of a mountain, or a side of rocks. But Goku gets up. Suddenly, Son Goku raises his hands into the sky and begins to gather energy for the extra-large Genki Dama. This is the first time we have seen the Genki Dama since the fight with Vegeta in the Saiyan arc. Also, there is no dream sequence with the dead Vegeta and other dead Saiyans talking to Goku from beyond the grave. This doesn't happen in the manga. As Frieza watches, Frieza twerks his hand and throws a giant attack that creates a hole or a large chasm in front of Goku. But Goku continues to gather energy for the Genki Dama, hoping that Frieza will not notice it. Piccolo, Son Gohan, and Krillin look up into the upper sky and see a 50-meter-wide Genki Dama. They tell Piccolo what the Genki Dama, or the Spirit Bomb, is, and explains that they never saw anything that large. And so Piccolo, Gohan, Krillin, and Kaiosama watch on, hoping that Frieza will not notice what Son Goku is doing. Frieza boasts and laughs and mocks at the Saiyan species for being an inferior breed or species that could never match anything that he was capable of doing. But as Goku draws his breath and gathers and is halfway, Krillin, Gohan, and Piccolo say that because of all the destruction, there isn't enough life on Namek to gather life energy from into the Genki Dama. But it turns out that Goku is gathering Genki from other planets across the entire solar system, or the 3-star solar system, into the extra-sized Genki Dama. Frieza fires a death beam at Goku. He fires several of them. And so Krillin and Gohan give all of their ki to Piccolo to attack Frieza with all that they have left. Everything that they have left in a final, ultimate gamble. Frieza blasts Goku, picks him up, throws him into the water. Goku gets out of the water. Frieza puts his finger before Goku and tells him that when he kills Goku, he is going to kill his half-breed son, and that will be the end of the Saiyan species. All Saiyans that survived planet Vegeta's destruction will be extinct. Then Piccolo kicks Frieza from the side and blocks Frieza. Then, as Frieza gets up, Gohan and Krillin with their last bit of ki fire Kai blasts at Frieza and it explodes. Frieza is surprised that they're still alive, and Frieza thought that he had killed every Nahamekian on Nahamek. But anyways, Frieza does notice the extra-sized Genki Dama, but forgets about it when Piccolo attacks. And then finally, Frieza mockingly decides to blow up Namek. So after Frieza gives a statement that the end is nigh, Frieza creates a death ball, a black hole looking dark purple electric covering energy ball, and flies into the air. Goku finishes the extra-sized Genki Dama and pulls it down from outer space as it goes towards Frieza. Frieza only sees it at the last moment. It engulfs and eats up his death ball. Frieza, with all of his remaining strength, tries to hold the giant 50-meter wide Super Genki Dama, or extra-sized Genki Dama, but to no avail. Frieza is throttled into it, has all pure evil minus energy is enveloped in its positive energy, and then it hits Namek and creates a giant super explosion that can be seen from outer space. 1/3 of the entire planet's surface is covered in the explosion, and it is gigantic. The entire planet goes AWOL with the massive explosion across the entire planet. When the smoke settles, there is a giant Niagara Falls-size chasm or hole that is left in its wake. Gohan and Krillin have survived, but they wonder if Goku, Gohan's dad, and Piccolo have survived. Piccolo gets out of the water and pulls Goku up. Has the giant hole that was the size of Niagara Falls closes up in the water, or the dissipating closing water, Goku, Piccolo, Gohan, and Krillin, who are just barely able to even fly because they have no ki or kai left, arrive on an island. They're laughing and celebrating the end of the fight with Frieza. It appears that it's truly over with. They talk about how they will get into Goku's spaceship with Bulma and fly back to Earth in about 5 or something days, and they talk and they celebrate. Piccolo is sad that Nail, Saichoro, the Grand Elder, as well as all of the Nahamekians are now dead. Piccolo laments and hopes the passing of the Namekians and hopes that they might rest in peace. Then Krillin looks in an eerie sight and screams and exclaims that he forgot about Bulma, that they will have to go and get Bulma. Then Krillin looks up at the rock, a tall leaning rock, and is full of absolute emblazoned fear. Fear like Krillin has never experienced in his life. Piccolo, Gohan, Goku, Kaio look up, and they see Frieza standing on top of the pile of rocks, looking down ominously and furious. Half of Frieza's tail is gone. Frieza is greatly disparaged, but not beaten. Frieza explains that it took quite a bulk of his power or strength to successfully survive through the extra-sized Genki Dama. Frieza tells Goku that he is going to kill and blow up his friends one by one as he looks on helplessly at the sight. Frieza fires an energy laser at Piccolo. Now, it doesn't kill Piccolo. Piccolo will be alive. Piccolo stays alive. He is just knocked out unconscious. Then Goku demands and tells Frieza to stop. Goku tells Krillin and Gohan to leave and take Piccolo and Bulma and get in the spaceship and leave Namek before it's too late. But Frieza, using a psychic energy akin to the Force, or using the Force, levitates Krillin up into the sky. Frieza, with the gesture of his hand, blows Krillin to pieces, killing him. This is important because Krillin was already brought back to life by Shenlong, and because Krillin has died a second time, the dragon cannot resurrect him again. Krillin is now dead for good. Krillin blows up to pieces. Kaio tells Yamcha, Ten Shenhan, and Chaozu about Krillin's death. Suddenly, Son Goku's heart rushes, and an incredible anger and rage, such as Goku has never experienced in all of his life, begins to envelop him. Suddenly, a powerful shock of energy crosses Goku's head, and a golden light and a strange warping, crisp sound envelops over Goku. A bright, golden aura covers across Goku. Goku's hair is blonde. His hair stands up on its end, and it is spiky and stands up on end. Very different. His hair is blonde and his eyes are blue. Son Goku has achieved the legendary Super Saiyan transformation. The legend has finally been awakened. Once every single millennium, a Saiyan is born with the potential to become a Super Saiyan, and for the first time in several such millennia, Goku is now a Super Saiyan. Frieza is pretty impressed by the transformation, and points out that he did know that Saiyans could transform into Great Ape Ozarus, but had never seen such a form as this. Goku tells Gohan to take Piccolo and Bulma, go to his spaceship that he used to go to Namek, and leave as soon as he can. Goku is going to fight to the bitter death against Frieza. And so Gohan takes Piccolo and flies off. Frieza tries to kill Gohan, but Goku blocks it, grabs Frieza by the hand, and holds him. And Frieza is unable by his own strength to pull free from Goku. Goku then lets go of it. And so, Frieza punches Goku in the face and performs multiple attacks. Goku uses a Ki-Ya attack and blasts Frieza up into the air. The two of them continue their fight in the sky as Frieza fires a large Kai blast that creates a massive explosion. It doesn't affect Goku. Then Frieza uses his signature attack, the Death Beam. He fires several of them at Goku, but Goku blocks every single one of them. Then Goku lets Frieza fire a direct hit at his face. Frieza does so and fires nervously an attack at Goku. Frieza is becoming increasingly nervous and fearful. in ways that he has never done before. But while Goku does take the direct hit, he smiles as he bleeds and exclaims that he is Son Goku, and he is a scion from the planet Earth, and he is now a legendary Super Saiyan, the hope and savior of the universe, the protector of good and the nightmare of evil. And he is the legendary Super Saiyan Son Goku. Frieza is driven into absolute despair and absolute rage at the fact that the very thing that he tried absolutely everything to prevent throughout his entire life has come to pass. Now he faces a Super Saiyan, and the age of the Super Saiyans begins. And so, Frieza fires multiple Kai attacks at Son Goku, who blocks every single one of them. Then Frieza, with the last bit of bulk ki that he has, powers up and creates a gigantic, burning red purple energy ball with lightning and energy flashing out of it, and fires it at planet Namek, because as Frieza explains to Goku and Kaio, even though he is no match for a Super Saiyan, even at full power, if he destroys Namek, he can breathe and survive in the vacuum of space, but Goku cannot. And with that, Frieza fires his giant attack into Namek, and it causes a massive explosion. A flashing rage of energy engulfs the entire planet, as everything is destroyed. Goku, Frieza, Gohan, Bulma, Ginyu, the Frog, and Piccolo, all engulfed in a massive ball of light that envelops the entire planet. On Kaio's world in the afterlife, Kaio is very concerned about what is going on. Suddenly, Kaio is contacted telepathically by Kami, who is on the heavenly sanctuary, the temple above the clouds on Earth, and is already sent Mr. Popo to gather the 7 Dragon Balls. Mr. Popo will soon have the 7 Dragon Balls, and they will use them to bring back Ten Shinhan and Yamcha. However, Chao Su has already been brought back to life, and the dragon cannot grant the same wish more than once, so Chao Su cannot be brought back to life. Ten Shinhan decides to stay dead and to stay on Kaio's world at the end of the Snake Way. Kaio then realizes that if Piccolo is linked with life to Kami, the god of Earth, that means that Piccolo is alive. Kaio senses it out and notices that Piccolo is indeed alive. And so is Kami, which means that planet Nahamek has not been destroyed. Frieza failed to gather enough energy because he was already wearing out from his fight with Goku to actually destroy Nahamek. So Nahamek is still around, but where Goku and Frieza float up in the air is a giant, several kilometers wide moon-shaped crater that goes all the way to the core of Namek. Lightning envelops over the entire crater as the atmosphere around the planet begins to change and to alter. Son Gohan carrying Piccolo flies over the dead remains of the Ginyu Special Force and arrives at the spaceship. He puts Piccolo inside and flies off to find Bulma. Goku and Frieza have a conversation. As Frieza points out that with the core now obliterated, there is only 5 minutes before planet Nahamek explodes. Frieza can survive for years, even decades, in the vacuum of outer space, and will survive while Goku dies from a lack of oxygen. Goku thinks that Frieza was going to destroy himself, but Frieza explains to Goku that he is wrong in regards to that. And so Frieza prepares to power up to 100% max power, and begins to do so. At any rate, on Kaio's world, Kaio tells Kami to change the wish. Instead, Kaio has Kami tell Mr. Popo to make a wish for all of the Namekians and all those killed by Frieza and his minions, the Frieza Force, to be resurrected. Because even though the Grand Elder had died from natural causes, and the dragon cannot bring back to life those that had died of natural cause, because of the acceleration caused from the stress and trauma of his own people being killed by the Frieza Force, it created an unnatural result in Saichoro's death. And therefore it would be possible to resurrect Saichoro, which means that Porunga would be resurrected. And then they plan to use the Nahamekian dragon to send everyone on planet Nahamek except Goku and Frieza to Earth. This is Kaio's great master plan. Kami picks it up and takes on with it. On planet Nahamek, Bulma is still at the island and the rocks are falling in. A boulder almost hits and crushes her. Gohan flies in and saves her and carries her to the spaceship. Anyways, Frieza and Goku have a very short fight. Frieza uses the Force, or psychic telekinetic powers, to push Goku down into the side, but Goku pulls himself up, even more damaged and injured and hurt than before. Frieza then powers up to 100% maximum power. His muscles grow, his shoulders get bigger, his arms, his tail, his legs get bigger. And then there is a giant flash of light and powerful explosion as a fully powered up, muscular, giant-sized, final form Super Frieza at 100% maximum power, the bulk of Frieza's abilities, is finally at full force. And so, Son Goku and Super Frieza clash. Super Saiyan and Super Frieza, at full power, fight to the very brink of death itself. On Earth, Mr. Popo has gathered the 7 enchanted Dragon Balls. He summons Shenlong as the sky turns dark and the Dragon God appears. Shenlong demands what wish that Mr. Popo wills of him to make. Mr. Popo, who gets telepathically contacted by Kami, asks Shenlong or Shenron to bring back all of those in the last year, if he can bring back all those that Frieza and his Frieza Force henchmen had killed. Shenron explains that this indeed can be done, but only those that died within the past year can be revived, and he is unsure of where the wish should be granted. And so, Shenlong or Shenron grants this wish and makes it so, as his eyes grow brightly. On planet Nahamek, Goku and Frieza continue to clash and fight at full power as they perform multiple punches and multiple kicks. Goku uses the after image technique multiple times. Frieza uses the sonic burst. has the more damage and the more injuries that Frieza sustains, the faster he actually gets. Frieza is adapting in his nature and battle power to fight a Super Saiyan. Goku punches Frieza in the stomach. Frieza headbutts Goku in the face. Goku grabs Frieza with both of his hands and headbutts him several times and kicks him. Frieza fires a giant energy ball that propels him back up into the air. It hits the side of the crater and creates a giant atomic bomb-like explosion that generates a mushroom cloud. A mushroom cloud over the horizon. Goku and Frieza exchange multiple punches and blows at super fast lightning speed that no one even remotely close to their power and abilities can watch. Regardless, Goku powers up the Kamehameha and fires the Super Saiyan Kamehameha at full power. A gigantic golden aura'd Kamehameha falls upon Frieza. Frieza surrounds himself in a force field or an energy field and goes into a full power aura blast against the Kamehameha. In all of the villages on planet Namek, as planet Namek shakes and begins to burn to the ground, various Nahamekians wake up from death. Mori is brought back to life, as is Dende's little brother, Dunder. All of the Namekians in all of the various villages are brought back to life. Dende wakes up having been brought back to life, and then Vegeta pulls out of the makeshift grave. Because Vegeta was no longer a minion of the Frieza Force, when he died, he is brought back to life. Keep in mind that Vegeta is still pure evil. Vegeta is still a villain, and he is still very proudful and egotistical. At Saichoro's place, or what's left of it, Saichoro breathes anew, for he has been brought back to life. The skies all across planet Namek become dark, and the Nahamekian Dragon Balls turn back to what they were before as they return to normal and glow. And the great dragon god of dreams, Porunga, is alive once more. On planet Earth, Shenron grants his wish, and then the dragon disappears and dissipates, and the 7 Earth Dragon Balls scatter across the entire world as the skies around the world return to normal. Anyways, Goku fires a Kamehameha and increases it multiple times as he engages in a gigantic titanic beam struggle with Frieza. Then Frieza leaves out of the Kamehameha as it goes up into outer space and headbutts and overpowers Goku. Goku falls into a giant volcano that is formed and falls into the lava flow. Frieza assumes that he has defeated Goku, but realizes that the skies across the entire planet have blackened out, and realizes that he must leave Namek before it blows up before it's too late, or it will take a tremendous amount of his remaining ki to fend off the planetary explosion that results. Volcanoes form as giant earthquakes, tornadoes, typhoons, lightning, and thunderstorms pop out all over. All of planet Namek is surrounded in volcanic activity and thunderstorms. The planet will soon die. Goku pulls out of the lava flow with an energy force field, and Frieza fires multiple psychic or telekinetic paralysis attacks on Goku, but Goku powers up his Kai aura tremendously as he becomes even stronger than Frieza is and breaks free of Frieza's psychic hold. The two of them continue to fight and continue to battle. Frieza tries to fire eye lasers at Goku. Goku tries to karate chop Frieza, and they both jump to two sides of falling apart volcanic rocks as lightning blasts over the skies above them. Kaio contacts the Grand Elder Saichoro telepathically and asks if the dragon can be used for one final wish. Kaio explains that he is the god of the Northern Galaxy, North Kaio, the god of the Northern Galaxy, and he is talking to the Grand Elder. The Grand Elder points out that the third wish was not made, and the dragon can grant one more wish. And so, Saichoro telepathically contacts Dende, who is not far from the dragon god, and tells him what Kaio wants. Suddenly, Goku interferes in the mind telecommunication, or the psychic telecommunication, and tells Kaio and Saichoro, or the Grand Elder, that he wants to stay on planet Namek. Goku, regardless of whoever a person he is, Goku is still a Saiyan. He is still Kakarot, and like any Saiyan, he wants to fight Frieza to the bitter end. Goku says that he will find a way to get off Namek in less than 5 minutes. And so, that being said, the wish is changed. So Kaio tells Saichoro, and Saichoro tells Dende. But, as Frieza and Goku are performing multiple blows and Kai attacks, Frieza notices the dragon god of dreams Porunga in the distance, as does Vegeta. Frieza flies with an energy force field to protect him at full speed to the dragon, and Goku follows in pursuit. Dende flies in front of the dragon and indeed asks if the dragon can grant one more wish. Frieza shows up in front of Porunga and is quite impressed with how large and massive the dragon god is. Goku arrives but feels that he is too late. Dende makes the wish in the Nahamekian language for everyone on planet Nahamek except Goku and Frieza to be sent to Earth. The dragon grants the wish, the last wish, and his eyes glow brightly. Dende disappears. Vegeta disappears. Gohan and Bulma disappear, as does Piccolo, Mori, Dende, and all of the Nahamekians in all of the Nahamekian villages vanish and disappear off the face of Namek. Then Frieza demands and wishes to have everlasting life or immortality, but does not get it. The dragon disappears or vanishes, and the 7 Nahamekian Dragon Balls fly to Earth, and the skies around Namek return to normal. On planet Earth, somewhere around a mountainside in a forest, Gohan, Piccolo, Vegeta, Saichoro, the Grand Elder, Bulma, Mori, and all of the various Nahamekians, about 100-something Namekians, pop up on Earth. Dende heals Piccolo. Dende uses his healing technique to heal Piccolo, and Gohan and Dende are very happy and well pleased and excited that they have been reunited. But Gohan thought that Dende was killed by Frieza. But it turns out that the Earth-set Dragon Balls resurrected them all from death, and then the Namekian set of Dragon Balls brought them to Earth. It was truly a great master plan. Frieza is greatly bewildered about what actually happened. or what is going on. And so Super Saiyan Son Goku tells Frieza everything, that they used the Earth Dragon Balls to resurrect everyone that he and his minions had killed. Then they used the Nahamekian Dragon Ball set to send everyone to planet Earth for safety. Frieza laughs as his energy force field disappears and he flies down to the ground. Frieza continues to mock Goku, saying that he destroyed planet Vegeta and wiped out all of the Saiyans, just as he will now wipe out Nahamek. And Frieza points out that even after he does defeat and crush Goku and leaves Namek, he is going to go to Earth next to finish the job on planet Earth. And so, this gives some story lead up to what's going to happen next. Frieza explains that the state of the planet that it is currently in will blow up in about 2 to 3 minutes. Goku realizes that there isn't much time left at all. Regardless, Goku and Frieza continue their massive interstellar fight of epic proportions. And so, Kaio continues to watch from his planet in the other world at the end of Snake Way, has Super Saiyan Son Goku and 100% max powered up Super Frieza continue to fight with every single thing that they have left. Frieza pulls Goku's head, hurls him into a pile of rocks, and headbutts him multiple times as Goku coughs out blood. Then Goku knee kicks Frieza, Frieza elbow slams Goku, and the two of them continue to trade multiple punches, multiple kicks, multiple jockeying, and multiple blows one unto the other. This truly is the greatest fight of all time, a battle of truly ultimate and epic proportions. There are scenes where Goku and Frieza fight at a Nahamekian village where they blow up and tear up houses and buildings. Frieza generates and creates a gigantic Kai ball, throws it at Goku. Goku kicks it up and it flies all the way out into outer space and goes across the solar system, crashes into another planet, causing it to blow up in a gigantic, massive explosion, in which only meteorites are left. Goku and Frieza continue their ultimate battle to its very enraged climax. Tornadoes, twisters, fireballs, volcanoes, new continental formations cover all over planet Nahamek, as volcanoes take form and giant lightning and energy balls enrage and envelop everywhere on the entire planet. Not one part of planet Nahamek is spared. The powerful energy blast that Frieza sent into the core of Nahamek begins to really accelerate as the entire planet falls apart because of the lack of a gravitational center place in the core that was destroyed by Frieza's giant massive blast attack. Frieza, with every single thing that he has, uses multiple warp speed attacks on Son Goku. Mocking Goku, mocking the Saiyans, has an inferior species of mere monkeys, mere primitive barbaric simians that deserved extinction in a natural order of selection. But Goku resists and fights back with everything he has. At some point, Goku begins to overpower the weakening Frieza. Goku elbow slams Frieza, causing him to cough out blood. And then Goku knee kicks Frieza, somersault punches him into the ground. But Frieza grabs Goku by the arm and somersaults him into the ground and stomps him and kicks him and beats him and punches him multiple times. Frieza then fires a massive Kai Blast and then multiple Kai Blast and energy attacks at Son Goku, as Frieza continues to fire continuous energy blast or energy balls covered in minus electrical energy charged attacks like a minefield going off at once. But the Super Saiyan is behind Frieza, standing on top of a rock, completely unfazed by Frieza's assaults. Frieza begins to psychologically break down. For the first time in Frieza's entire life, he is truly fighting someone superior to him, someone better, a better fighter, a better martial artist than he is. But Frieza cannot believe in anything like the mythology of the legendary Super Saiyan mythos, much less that a low-class mere Saiyan, a mere Saiyan could defeat him. But as lightning flashes in the skies above, and as a tornado passes by them both, and an earthquake and a tremor hits the ground, Frieza finally begins to realize and acknowledge that he has been defeated. But an angry and furious Frieza charges at Son Goku. Goku disappears from behind and elbow slams Frieza from the top of the head. Frieza punches and throws punches and kicks as much as he can, but misses Goku. Then, in a final and ultimate moment that goes into slow motion, Frieza tries to throw a punch at Goku, but before he can, Goku punches Frieza in the upper torso, causing Frieza to vomit out spit and blood out of his mouth. This is the end. In that moment of that manga panel, Goku wins the fight. The battle or the fight is over with. As Goku looks on and Frieza gets up and tries to continue to fight, Goku says that it's over. This fight is over. Frieza has been humiliated and humbled, and by a Saiyan monkey or a Saiyan. Frieza is just furious and enraged. But Frieza knows that he is not used to using his 100% maximum power. It drains his power. And Frieza was already greatly injured or significantly injured and pushed to his limits before he powered up to his full power. This is why Frieza tried to destroy Nahamek before he powered up, because Frieza is unable to use his full power for a long period of time, and Frieza's power drains and falls significantly by the mere second. Goku transforms back to his normal self. His hair turns black and falls down as it was before. Goku then flies off in a Kai Aura super speed flight. Then Frieza copies Krillin's technique, the Kienzan attack, and creates a red Death Kienzan and throws it at Goku. It cuts Goku right in the face from behind. Goku looks on as he bleeds, and for the first time, Goku faces a truly unrepentant, merciless space tyrant that will never know what it is to be redeemed. Goku transforms into a Super Saiyan a second time and begins to fight Frieza once more. Frieza uses the Death Kienzan, which he can use to track Goku's ki signal, and hurls it at Goku. Goku uses the after image, or the Zanzoken technique, to create fake images or fake split images, and because of that, Frieza misses Goku multiple times. Then Goku flies right up in front of Frieza and tries to throw the Death Kienzan at him. Then Goku fires a small ki blast that generates a smoke screen, and Frieza is almost hit directly by the Death Kienzan, but flies up and dodges it. Frieza points out that he is on to Goku's stupid trick or stupid technique and will not be outsmarted by a Saiyan. Frieza creates another Death Kienzan and throws it at Son Goku. Goku is flying up and down and all over the place with two Death Kienzans following him in pursuit, as Goku tries every bit he can, even to the point where he is actually cut a few times on the sides by the Kienzans. But Goku holds on to bare life and dodges them as best he can. Finally, Goku flies right up in front of Frieza, and Frieza jumps up into the air, but Goku punches him, elbow slams him into the ground. But Frieza does a flip and lands safely at full force. Frieza exclaims that he will not be so easily bested by a mere Saiyan. Goku yells at Frieza, telling him to watch out, but Frieza refuses to trust Goku. Suddenly, the two Death Kienzans cut right through Frieza's body. One cuts off his left arm. The other cuts right through the middle of Frieza's torso, severing off his legs and tail. The two Death Kienzans fall into the ground and explode. Frieza is on the ground, chopped up and severed to pieces, and this truly is the end. Kaio is actually shocked and kind of gives a very slight remark about it as he tells Yamcha, Ten Shenhan, and Chaozu what's going on. On planet Earth, Dende burns a couple of leaves, telling Gohan that Nahamekians believe that burning certain types of tree leaves can end up in some kind of a fortune-telling. Vegeta just laughs and mocks on as he basically sleeps under a tree. Saichoro begins to gather his people. The Nahamekians notice that not all of their people are back. One of the Namekians notices that Suno's people are not there, or Suno's clan, the clan of the 6th Nahamekian village, are not to be found. Vegeta laughs and mocks the Namekians and says that they must have been the Nahamekians that he killed. Vegeta raided the 6th Nahamekian village for the 4-star Dragon Ball and killed and slayed all of Tsuno's people, and because he was rebelling against Frieza, and the wish that resurrected them did not include the Saiyan Vegeta, but only Frieza's minions, Tsuno's people of the 6th Namekian village were not resurrected and remained dead. At any rate, 7 stone balls fall from the sky and hit the ground not far from where they're standing. They notice that it is the Namekian Dragon Balls that have turned to stone for 1 Namekian year. Saichoro explains to the Namekians, including to Nail, who fused with Piccolo, that his time has now come to an end. He tells them farewell as he puts his hand on Mori and transfers the life force and energy necessary to keeping the Dragon Balls alive into Mori. The Grand Elder exclaims that Mori is now the eldest Namekian and is now the Grand Elder and keeper of the Namekian secrets and Dragon Balls. And with that, Saichoro, the Grand Elder, the eldest Namekian, says farewell as he transcends like Elijah did in the Old Testament. Has Enoch and Elijah transitioned, Saichoro, or the Grand Elder, disappears into the ether as he goes to the afterlife. The Grand Elder has died a second time, and Mori is the successor of the Namekians. The Namekians begin to break down and cry as they mourn the passing of the Grand Elder. On planet Namek, lightning flies through the air as tornadoes and rocks and volcanoes rage and become the norm as the sky turns blood red. There isn't much air left. All the plants and animals have died at this point. The planet is dying and falling apart. There is barely enough air even for Goku to stay alive on that planet. Frieza has been bested and beaten and torn to shreds, but Frieza, the genocidal Manglomaniac, stops Goku and begs for help. Goku is quite surprised that Frieza would beg for mercy and forgiveness and actually beg for help. Frieza, the one who killed the Saiyans and the Namekians and quintillions and trillions upon trillions of other alien species, the destroyer of many planets, begs for his very life to be spared. Frieza begs and asks politely if Goku could donate a small part of his energy and promises that he will go to a faraway planet and hide and never do evil things again. Frieza promises this to Goku. Goku transfers a small part of his ki into Frieza, allowing Frieza to float or to levitate. Goku tells Frieza to get lost and to go to some faraway place in the universe and never rear his ugly face ever again. Frieza tells Goku that Namek will soon blow up and he will die from the lack of oxygen because of no atmosphere in space, while Frieza survives. Regardless, Goku blasts off and flies away. Frieza mocks and exclaims that he is the strongest in the universe, the strongest who has ever lived in existence, and fires a giant Kai blast at Goku. Frieza fires a one-hand Kai blast and reverts the course or trajectory of the attack and sends Frieza's and his in a final beam struggle back to Frieza. Frieza yells, "Damn you," as he is eviscerated and apparently killed in the attack. Frieza's eyeballs pop out of his eyes. His face screams in agonizing torment as a flash of light and a resulting explosion takes place. All that is left of the once mighty Frieza, and with him The Frieza Empire is a small falling puddle of falling water on a dying planet. The final legacy of Frieza. Goku closes his eyes and laments briefly at the end of such an unredeemable person. This is the climax of a final, silent, momentous battle to the death. And with that, Super Saiyan Goku flies at full speed to Frieza's spaceship. On Kaio's world, Kaio explains to Yamcha, Chaozu, and Ten Shinhan, who represent we, the audience, that Goku does not have enough time to get off of Nahamek because the planet is about to go up. But the good news is that Frieza is now dead. Frieza is no more. Frieza is dead. But Goku might not survive. Goku passes by the 5 Ginyu Force space pods that the Ginyu Force used to go to Namek in, goes into Frieza's spaceship. Massive earthquakes and tremors shake the spaceship. Goku goes into the control room and finds the blast-off switch. Goku successfully, after much struggle and much fighting, finds the blast-off button in the control room. Goku realizes that the spaceship was quite significantly damaged by Vegeta, Zarbon, and the Ginyu Force, but Goku hopes that he can use it to get off planet Namek and survive. It appears that the spaceship is about to take off successfully, and Goku is happy, even smiling. Then a massive earthquake and tremor tears through the ground as it splits open, and half of Frieza's spaceship is caught up into it. Goku escapes and lives and gets out of the spaceship, out of Frieza's mother's spaceship, and goes into the air. Lightning and thunder blast through the sky. Flows of lava burst out as Son Goku, the legendary Super Saiyan of the Millennium, looks onward in awe and agony. And with that, Son Goku closes his eyes and screams as a beam of light envelops and covers him, and a massive explosion takes place. All across the surface of Namek, flashes of light and powerful blasts of explosion go up. The entire planet splits apart, and then a massive explosion from the inner core goes out of the crater from the blast fault line, and then out of the rest of the planet. Finally, a massive explosion goes out into space. An entire planet destroyed with its 2 moons. Both of Namek's moons explode in massive explosions, and then finally a final giant planetary explosion goes out across space. In the farthest regions of Namek's solar system, a trinkle of light, like a supernova explosion, but the size of a planet, goes off. And nothing is left. Nothing but the darkness and the silence of space. Kaio stops looking on, and Kaio screams that he cannot watch anymore. So Yamcha asks Kaio what is going on, and Kaio tells them on his planet, as he talks to Chaozu, Ten Shinhan, and Yamcha, that Goku became a Super Saiyan, stronger than Frieza, and easily defeated and crushed Frieza, but in a last moment of desperation, Frieza destroyed planet Namek. Goku was not able to make it off Namek and died when the planet was destroyed. Yamcha is very saddened and heartbroken and wonders what he should do to tell Bulma and the others. So, Yamcha, Yamcha, putting his hand on Kaio-sama's shoulder, telepathically contacts Bulma and tells Bulma the bad news. But Bulma is not upset. Bulma explains that there is a way that they can revive Goku and Krillin, as well as Ten Shinhan, Chaozu, and Yamcha. They can all be resurrected or brought back to life. And Mori and the Nahamekians will need a place to stay until they can find a new planet to inhabit, or co-inhabit. Regardless, Bulma, Kaio, Vegeta, and the others talk. Suddenly, Vegeta interrupts and explains that they could use the first wish of the Namekian Dragon Balls to bring the dead souls of Krillin and Goku to Earth, and then use the second wish to resurrect them with their dead souls on Earth, because if they were resurrected on Namek, Namek has been destroyed, they would die in the vacuum of space for a lack of oxygen to breathe. Bulma rushes to a nearby house not far from where they were teleported to on Earth by the last wish. They get a phone and they contact Mr. Briefs, or Dr. Briefs. So Bulma reaches out and contacts Dr. Briefs. Somewhere in the jungle, Yajirobe is eating or munching on a bunch of Sinzu beans that he kept and stole from Korin, and Yajirobe wonders just what happened to Goku, and if Goku ever beat Vegeta and that so-called guy that was stronger than Vegeta, as he ponders it. Regardless, Gohan is worried about having not finished his homework. And so, Dr. Briefs sends an airplane, or a giant airplane, to pick up all of the Namekians, all 100 Nahamekians, with Piccolo, Gohan, Bulma, and Vegeta, and they return back to Capsule Corporation on the airplane. Because of the humans, or the people of Earth, and their strange curiosity, the Nahamekians stay in Capsule Corporation. They stay inside, and the Namekians stay inside Capsule Corporation, where they basically stay. They do things like play golf with Mr. Briefs on his golf lawn inside the building. The Nahamekians stay, and they live in peace and in secrecy and in hiding together with Vegeta. Gohan goes back home for the first time since he was kidnapped by Piccolo after the fight with Raditz. And for the first time since before the arrival of Raditz, Gohan finally goes back and lives with his mother Chi-Chi and his grandfather Gyumao, or the Demon Ox ruler, or the Ox Demon King. Gohan is forced to catch up with all of the homework that he did not finish, and so Gohan has to struggle to catch up on all of the backed up schoolwork that he missed for the past year or so since the beginning of the Saiyan arc. 130 Earth days pass, the equivalent of one Nahamekian year. The Nahamekian Dragon Balls reset, and finally they gather outside and summon the Dragon God Porunga once more. Dr. Briefs spreads news around the Western capital, or the Western city, explaining that the dragon, or the appearance of Porunga over the urban landscape, is one of the scientists' wacky experiments. And so none of the Earthlings or the people of the Western capital are taken to surprise or shock by the dragon god of dreams, Porunga. For the first wish, they wish for the dead souls of Son Goku and Kululin to be brought to Earth from the other world. The dragon grants the wish, but only the dead soul of Kululin is brought to Earth. The dragon, however, is unable to bring Goku's dead soul to Earth because Goku is alive. To everyone's shock, especially Vegeta's, it turns out that Goku actually did escape and survive planet Nahamek's destruction. Somehow, Son Goku hijacked a spaceship of some kind and escaped the planet's explosion just in the nick of time, Superman and Planet Krypton style. So Goku is alive and is somewhere in outer space, and the dead soul of Kululin is brought to Earth from the other world. And so the second wish, they revive Krillin. The dragon god grants the second wish. Krillin is brought back to life and in one piece, and has an extra bonus. Porunga, the dragon god, explains that one by one, atom by atom, cell by cell, Porunga brings Krillin back into one piece, in much the same way that Kami put Chaozu back together into one piece after he exploded trying to self-destruct to kill Nappa. So Krillin is resurrected. Yamcha decides, or it's decided that Yamcha will be resurrected next. Ten Shenhan wants to stay in Kaio's realm with Chaozu. So the last wish brings Yamcha back to life. And I have no idea what happens to his dead corpse that they placed in the preservation pod capsule at the end of the Saiyan arc. And so another 130 days pass. Also, they try to use the last wish. I forgot. They try to use the third wish to have Son Goku brought from wherever in the universe that he is at to Earth, but the dragon cannot grant the wish because the person that he was going to send to Earth is unwilling to return. And Roshi, the mutant Roshi, or Master Roshi, makes up a joke saying that even the greatest warrior in the universe, Super Saiyan Son Goku, is afraid to come back to confront his wife. And angry Chi-Chi pulls out a sword and threatens the mutant Roshi. So anyways, Yamcha is brought back to life. Whether he is brought back in the dead body that he was in the preservation capsule that they put his body in, or if he's teleported from Kaio's world. Regardless, another 130 Earth days pass, or another Nahamekian year passes, the Dragon Balls reset. Once again, the dragon is summoned. The first wish brings Chaozu back to life. The second wish brings Ten Shenhan back to life. And finally, the third and the last wish is made by Mori. Has Mori, the new Grand Nahamekian Elder, and all of the 100-something Nahamekians are sent by the dragon god Porunga to another planet. They go to some new planet where they hope to live in peace, that is far, far in the outer cosmos and in an unknown region of space that is not known by the Frieza Force, where they can hopefully live in peace. Porunga and the Nahamekian Dragon Balls go to that planet with the Nahamekians and leave the Earth for good. Also, Dende, who was good friends with son Gohan, goes to that planet as well. And Gohan has to say goodbye to his longtime friend or new friend from Nahamek, Dende. Now, in the Dragon Ball manga, Akira Toriyama only shows Krillin being resurrected and Yamcha talking to Ten Shinhan and Chaozu, and there's a few scenes of Purunga. There's also a scene of Super Saiyan Goku in his Go Dogi or Go Master Dogi. The only time that he's ever shown in that outfit has a Super Saiyan with the two dragons, Shenlong and Purunga. There's some stuff that Akira Toriyama talks about, but other than that, they don't really cover the last part of the Frieza arc. And so, the Frieza arc closes. Gohan goes back home to his mother Chi-Chi and goes through a bunch of homework or extra homework and has to go through or back through an entire year and months worth of homework. As Gohan studies and goes back to being a student in school. Piccolo comes to visit Gohan from time to time, but Piccolo does not train Gohan anymore afterwards. And so, nobody knows where Goku is in outer space. In the Dragon Ball Z anime, there is a scene where Vegeta goes into the spaceship that Chi-Chi was going to use to go to Namek, and Vegeta goes into outer space and he trains around on planets for a while. That doesn't happen in the manga. Vegeta never leaves. Bulma actually gets a bit of a crush on Vegeta because he's an interesting alien, and Vegeta stays at Capsule Corporation. Vegeta is still a bad guy. Vegeta is still a villain, he is still evil, but he doesn't go into space. In the mangaka, Vegeta stays on Earth the entire time between the end of the Frieza and the beginning of the Cell arcs, and he never goes in trains. And Vegeta stays on Earth until Kakarot returns so that he can learn the secrets of Super Saiyan. And so, as Akira Toriyama explains and gives a monologue, 1 year and 6 months pass. 1 year and 6 months pass. So we have a time skip. And suddenly, a strange and familiar key is sensed from far off in space that is approaching planet Earth. Gohan is busy catching up on his backup homework and gets a phone call from Krillin. Krillin was training on the Mutant Roshi or Master Roshi's island, and Krillin tells Gohan if he can feel that enormous battle power level. It is an evil and very familiar battle power. And they know who exactly it is. It has been 1 year and 6 months since they returned to Earth from Nahamek. 1 year since the Nahamekians left to their new host planet. 1 year and 6 months since the Goku and Frieza fight. And they are finally discovering the aftermath of said fight. Gohan rushes upstairs into his bedroom and puts on his Frieza Force battle armor, and then Krillin dresses up in his dogi that he had when he arrived on Nahamek, and they blast off and leave. Chi-Chi is worried about her son as he flies off. Bulma, Yamcha calls from Bulma's place at Capsule Corporation. Yamcha calls Master Roshi's island, and they talk with Krillin and stuff, and they recognize that that key that is approaching Earth is Frieza's. Frieza did not die, but Frieza lived. Somehow, Frieza survived and is going to planet Earth. Ten Shenhan and Chaozu are training in the mountains, and they sense it. Piccolo senses it. Vegeta and Yamcha sense it as well. In the outer reaches of outer space, a spaceship approaches the Earth. It is a spaceship just like the one that Frieza used to go to planet Nahamek. Inside the pilot room of that spaceship, inside the pilot chamber of that spaceship, is a giant person named King Cold. King Cold, who is in his first form, or in some repressed form, is on his throne sitting, drinking wine with his son, Frieza. Frieza is now a cyborg. He has mechanical enhancements. The mechanical or Darth Vader cybernetic enhancements are known as the Cosmic Suit, and he is now Mecha Ata Frieza, or Mecha Frieza. Frieza and King Cold know that Goku is in another spaceship going through space on his way back to Earth, but Frieza and King Cold have gained an advantage of arriving on Earth quicker than Goku did. But Goku is catching up to them in space, returning to planet Earth. And so Frieza is excited to get his revenge by destroying the Earth and eradicating all of Goku's friends for the humiliation he faced on Namek. And that is the cliffhanger for the Cell arc. This marks the end of the Frieza arc. So, here is ImperatorOfForge's opinions about the Frieza arc. It is very good. I know that Akira Toriyama's first editor said that it was his best thing that he ever did. It was basically the high point of Akira Toriyama's career as a mangaka artist to draw and write out the Frieza arc. The legendary Super Saiyan transformation is a 10 out of 10. There is no doubt about it. Super Saiyan, the golden peak hair, and the blue eyes, and the golden aura is a solid 10 out of 10 transformation. Frieza and his transformations are quite impressive and significant as well. The various Frieza Force minions and stuff are pretty interesting. So, for part 3, I, ImperatorOfForge, give the final part of the Frieza arc a 9.5 out of 10. Not as good as the previous Saiyan arc, but still pretty good. For the entire Frieza arc as a whole, or the Namek/Frieza saga as a whole, I, ImperatorOfForge, give it a 9 out of 10. I give it a 9 out of 10. There is a bit of a dip in terms of the storytelling and the consistency. We never get to see what King Vegeta looks like in the manga. There is only one panel of Bardock, and nothing else about Bardock is mentioned. The backstory about Planet Vegeta and the Saiyan genocide isn't really extrapolated upon. Vegeta's growth as a character is really amazing and really incredible, and Vegeta's strength and his development is awesome in this arc. The Ginyu Force are incredible fighters. Guldo, Recoome, Jace, Birder, and Captain Ginyu have all incredible unique abilities and stuff. Porunga, the dragon, is really incredible. the art of Planet Namek, Planet Namek's landscape, the characters, the Namekians, all of it really exciting. And of course, the final battle against Frieza with Piccolo, Gohan, and then Vegeta, and then Goku fighting against Frieza. Really awesome build-up. And of course, it ends with Planet Namek blowing up in space and Goku and Frieza surviving in this epic titanic struggle. And then also, I mean, it's really cool, but the downside of the Frieza arc is the lack of competency writing. Akira Toriyama makes a lot of mistakes writing this arc. This really is an early example of what Akira Toriyama repeats in the Majin Buu arc, where he makes a lot of inconsistencies, a lot of shortcomings, and a lot of failures. The Frieza arc is not perfect, but it is a very well-edited, amazing scenery, awesome storyline, and incredible fighting scenes. But the fighting and the martial arts, as always, is kind of really the main trajectory. This is the last arc in the Dragon Ball manga where they go out and search for the Dragon Balls. So this is the last major Dragon Ball quest of the story. This is also the last time in the OG manga, in the Dragon Ball manga, that we really have some deep storylines and deep storytelling. The Cell and the Buu arcs are good in their own way, but there's no more deep lore. So as I continue to go through with Scion Fridays, there will be more storytelling, but in terms of the deeper lore of the Dragon Balls and the Scions and the Namekians and stuff like that, I'm pretty much done. All of that stuff is more so in the Frieza arc, and it kind of goes just more into fighting and different types of lore. The Cell and the Buu arcs have their own type of lore. And so, join me, ImperatorOfForge, next Scion Friday as I begin the Android arc. So anyways, I will see you there. I give the Frieza arc a 9 out of 10. The Super Saiyan transformation is an incredible build-up. This is Akira Toriyama at his best, at his absolute apex, doing incredible storytelling. The Frieza arc, or the Frieza saga, could very well be the best saga in Dragon Ball. But the upcoming Cell arc will surpass it. A lot of fans say that the Cell arc is the best arc in the original Dragon Ball manga, and that is the next arc that I will cover. Now, I want to cover some myths about the Frieza arc. First of all, Frieza is not an Arcosian. In the Dragon Ball Z dub, in an early episode, they said that the Scions joined forces and were friends with the Arcosians, who gave them money in exchange for being hired mercenaries and space pirates and conquering planets. Those aliens in that flashback by Kaio have nothing to do with Frieza's clan. Frieza's species are not frost demons, they're not changelings, and they're not Arcosians. Goku doesn't die on Namek. Goku is always alive, and no, Goku does not die in the middle of the fight with Frieza and is then resurrected by Shenron, because Goku is already brought back by Shenlong, and Shenlong cannot resurrect Goku a second time. Goku never dies in the Frieza arc, Frieza doesn't die, and Akira Toriyama was not being pressured by his corporate bosses or the people above him to continue past the Frieza arc. There is no interview, there is no single interview or single conversation or interview with Akira Toriyama where he ever says that he was going to end his manga with the Frieza arc. That is a dub retard lie that Cool Tactic, Ghost of Niccolo, Third Ford II, Greatest Ally Israel, and a few of these other people fell for. And they think that, oh, Dragon Ball Z was supposed to end with the Frieza arc. No. What happened was that Akira Toriyama went to New York Comic-Con or something in 2002 and talked to Chris Sabat, and he told Chris Sabat in Japanese that he had originally planned to end the manga around volume 10 to volume 13, which actually corresponds to the Fortune Teller Crone arc and the 22nd Greatest Under the Heavens arc, tournament arc, but Chris Sabat thought he was referring to the Frieza arc because he thought that he meant from the start of Dragon Ball Z. Viz Media separated the Dragon Ball manga into Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, but in Japan it just stays as Dragon Ball, and Chris Sabat thought that he meant the end of the Frieza arc. That is a myth, that is a lie, that's a false rumor. Akira Toriyama, nor Toei, nor Shueisha never ever planned to end the Dragon Ball Z with the Frieza arc. Also, Akira Toriyama never planned for Piccolo to die on Namek so that all the Namekians would stay dead and there would be no more Dragon Balls. And Akira Toriyama did not plan for Super Saiyan Goku to defeat Frieza but die on Namek and remain and live on as a legend. That's another false rumor and a false myth. Akira Toriyama did not plan that. Akira Toriyama did not plan for Piccolo to die on Namek. He did not plan for Vegeta to stay dead after the Frieza arc, and he also did not plan for the Grand Elder Saichoro to remain dead and the Namekian Dragon Balls to remain non-existent or inert. He did plan to resurrect the Grand Elder so that they could use the Namekian Dragon Balls to resurrect all of their dead friends and to go to Earth safely. So all of that stuff is false rumors, and Frieza is not an Urkosian. Alright, on that note, I rate the Frieza arc a 9 out of 10, or a 9.5 out of 10. Alright, so Beet Soup, hey there Beet Soup, how are you? Beet Soup says hi, hi Beet Soup. Beet Soup says good review. Beet Soup says, wow. Alright, I have been your host, ImperatorOfForge. When I get to the History of Trunks special, I will do my review on the Lone Warrior Trunks when I get to that part of the manga, and then I'll do my review of the Cell arc. And if you want, I will do reviews of the movies. But anyways, I am ImperatorOfForge, otherwise known as Forge Warhammer. And this has been my review of the Frieza arc. Forge Gang! I am still a hard man! Stay hard! Bye for now. Peace.